All right. All right, so we know this works. And all right, cool. So far, so good. Next up. Sal, good morning.
Everybody, need some help?
Nope, I'm good. I got it all under control, my man.
All right, brother, I need wood.
I appreciate that vote of confidence.
Always. Set up right there.
It's good, dude.
Excited about your presentation today.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
You're right.
Zoom.
Recording in progress.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so our new books.
By the way, wait, is that not like the outside of your French toast? I like never eat across. Yeah, no, I always work in the middle. Is that funny? Making sure. I'm like a child. I still cut my sandwiches with course. That's there you go, man. Oh, yes. Literally just ham and mustard.
Let's do Bluetooth. 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 And let's see, add Bluetooth or our device, Bluetooth. And it's not picking it up. There it is. Connecting. Cool.
Now,
Testing of speaker.
that speaker that I already think you're up there.
Very cute, that's good. Wait, is that? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Did you hear me?
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything.
Testing, testing, testing.
It's like it.
Hold
That's a good question. Try it now.
on. Testing, 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 testing.
One.
The dial's here, but
Yeah, this thing worked when I was in my office yesterday. Not to sound like Eric, but like it did. I used it yesterday in my office and worked fine.
is this yours?
Eric just gave this to me before he left. He was like, here, you can use this. It should pick up the whole room. That's weird. All right, let me just. Microphone. Ah, you know what? Here we go. Microphone.
Try again.
Yeah.
Testing, testing, testing. Can you hear me now? Testing, testing.
I heard it earlier on my phone, which is what's weird. Okay. Microphone. Yeah. It worked before. I hooked that thing up. I wonder, does this thing also put out sound as a speaker? I wonder, because it says speaker. Ah, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get rid of this thing.
That's weird. All right.
Okay, so let's see. Now we'll go in here. Speakers. It's gonna be this Yeti thing. And microphone Yeti thing. All right, this should work.
All right. Try it again.
Ready? Testing, testing. Can you hear me now? Testing, testing. Wade, can you hear me? No. Testing, testing, testing.
Can you hear me on there?
No.
Oh, it's so weird. You can't hear me on there?
No.
It's so crazy. Everything was cool until I hooked up that thing. That Bluetooth speaker. Once I hooked that up, then everything went wonky. All right. Wow. Hello.
Okay. I just everything was working and now it's not. It's weird. Like it was cool up until a couple minutes ago and now it's not working.
Hello. All right, that's cool. That works. Hello. Hello. All right.
Where did that microphone come from? Like a.
John Chiska got it. So then.
Hello.
Right. That's working. So unmuted.
Can you hear me over there? Let's see. Let's see here. So I think if I jack up, all right, so the volume there. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. All right.
So then I know this speaker's got to be on then. And for whatever reason,
Very strangely, this worked fine at my office and it doesn't work now. And Eric's Bluetooth speaker worked fine at my office and it doesn't work right here now. But this is loud enough that I think if somebody from home was wanting to talk, I think that people could hear it, especially if I brought brought that microphone up. I think I'll be all right. Yeah. I told Courtney you have to create buzz, you know, a little hyperbole just in the way.
hey Courtney, you have 2 minutes to take a picture? 30 seconds.
I think it's so.
We love you. We're trying to. Okay, good morning.
Good. So like,
This is the new monster, huh?
yeah, which works, not to sound like Eric, it worked perfectly in my office, doesn't work here. His Bluetooth speaker worked perfectly in my office, doesn't work here.
Weird.
No, it's not working?
So unfortunately, my laptop is loud enough then it doesn't entirely matter. So like.
So if I talk in here, you can hear me on the laptop. And then if worse comes to worse, I can just take my microphone over to the laptop so that the room can hear it.
So you get nothing from.
Ah,
Oh, no. I love that.
What can
Yeah.
I do to help you there, Wade?
Oh, that. Not everyone has. But this one, it's like 70, this is like. Thank you.
Yeah, Eric gave me instructions on that. That's out in the bin, I think. All right, so that goes that way. No, it's not a big deal. Yeah. Yep. All right, so.
So when you're ready, I'll.
Yeah.
Vacationing or where you been?
Yeah.
And what's this?
Well, I was just in Ohio and then I was at a conference before that.
Is that normal for your business? Or you travel like that?
It's usually 1 to 2 months, but this summer, it's summer, so we have vacations. And I just dropped my daughter off at college, so.
You're not terrible. Come on, you have to.
Nice. She's at Ohio State. She's humongous. It's so huge. And she'd
The
never,
Ohio State.
the Ohio State. She's
Yeah.
never set foot on campus before, so it was definitely like.
Is that like a 2 or 3 day trip or you get it one?
And we did it in yes, it's like.
That's turnpike?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. It's a pretty straight shot. You change roads a couple times, to get to Harrisburg and then you got
Yeah,
76 and then you end up on 70.
Congratulations to you. So she's a fresh girl or whatever we call it now.
Fresh girl.
I saw something, I was in Millersville. I saw something from Millersville a few weeks ago. There's something about changing there. Her beach, people are politically correct or whatever. I don't know what it's called. It wasn't fresh girl. I'm sure it wasn't fresh girl. Fresh people, So what's she gonna study?
She applied to different majors at every school. And she's like, oh, what did I apply to at Ohio State?
Oh my God.
But she got a program where her top choice was Cornell. And she got Cornell, but it's a weird transfer. They're accepting her next summer. So they do this weird thing with a small group of kids that must be right underneath the cut. That they say, okay, go to another
Prove
school for a
yourself
year.
somewhere
No,
else.
actually, it doesn't prove yourself because they say basically you're in next year. This year. So yeah, so she can go to Cornell as a sophomore. And so it was like, okay, where do we go? Where do you go? And she doesn't know anything about it, but she's done it for years.
How do you argue that, Bob, huh?
I know, it's got nothing going on.
Congratulations. Very exciting.
That is exciting, but I think she'll probably end up staying out there. Once you go to a school.
Yeah, you make friends,
yeah.
connections.
So that's totally fine.
Good for you.
Good for you. All right, so that's this, which is there. Then this is here. So that's turned on. Now.
Testing. We've got sound. We charge. We have sound.
There we go.
Okay, I think we're good here. I got my headgear on and I'm ready to go. Morning, Brandon. but I know where I'm going to be sitting. Let me see. Best ever in history of Rotary presentation. Wade sets the bar pretty high.
You know what they say, bad press is better than good press at all, right?
Is that bad? I guess it is, actually. It is.
Yeah, when the time comes, I'll make sure it's fired up so it's full screen and all that, so.
You know, the nice thing that's different is, so our mission is we'll find, recruit, induct, orient, and retain service-minded persons. And it's find, recruit, induct, orient, retain, and then we didn't put the exit part. We don't want to put the exit part in our mission statement, did we?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I know.
So,
This is pretty funny.
yeah, we'll handle that as part of retention. Yeah.
Find, recruit. Do we have, recruit is Rick? Are the names still right? Are these?
Right to me.
Okay. JP. And these people are all still involved in yours for retain and exit?
Yeah, that's all accurate, yes.
Okay, great. And then orientation. We haven't really started the new member mentors.
Not yet. We're getting there.
Yeah. Let's go over where we are today, and then I'll talk about the handbook. And then ask questions, and then we'll go back to that. Yep. Probably will take half an hour, but that's all right.
And I'll run your slides for you so that way you can comfortably walk around. Just tell me next slide and I'll do the next slide for you.
Can I do it myself?
Oh, sure, of course you
Thank
can.
for some reason.
Hey, I'm
Gives me
total-
Something to do.
I'm total ADD. All that, yes.
I'll throw you it. Daughter's off to school?
Yeah. Where'd it go?
They went up. I just put two tables together, we'll be fine. Thank you.
So back into Zoom now. So that,
Wait, I have an idea.
yeah. No, go ahead, because now I'm just checking for participants and then I go out and see if anybody wants to talk about Club Runner.
How did the DEI stuff kind of progress working group stuff, their presentation stuff? I'm thinking of asking Jim to sort of convene his working groups and talk about how do we find diverse people we can talk to.
Yeah.
I can't do that by myself. I probably could. I think it's better as a working group to say, we get a plan together. By October 7th, we have our national assembly. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we want to involve. That's the recruiting end, which I said I would take. So it's not on you guys at all, but it's on me. But what do you think, asking that working group, since they did the lay the groundwork for the DEI stuff? Does that make
Yeah, I
sense?
mean, the reality is that that whole DEI aspect should start to smoothly transition into membership.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to
All
talk
right,
to Jim
so-
today about it.
So
Just
when you
know.
set that up, I want to be part of the meeting then, and then obviously Courtney should be invited to it as
Yeah,
well.
but I don't want you guys to, I want, working, here's the plan. We're gonna
Correct.
reach out to, Jim, people in that list of 10 businesses here in town that we should be talking
Yeah,
to.
he's 100% right. Yeah.
So let's throw the ball to Jim and Alicia and, hey, you want to take this on? We want to have sort of benchmarks for diversity, whether it's women, whether it's Latinos, whatever it is. Can we find them? When we
Right.
find the right ones,
Right.
then invite them. Yeah.
But I agree, they should be under our umbrella at this point. Like they started off as like an exploratory committee and now they need to become like an actual department of our,
Well, why don't we call them under recruit,
yeah,
under my recruiting?
Yeah. yeah, team, absorb them, merge them in.
Absorb, like a, I don't know, amoeba,
Like a-
absorbing.
Like a corporate merger.
Corporate.
I mean, it is. I mean, basically, I mean, because they're running parallel.
You're so much smarter than me. I love that when you come up with that stuff.
But no, I mean, the reality is that they're running parallel, and I don't believe in duplicative work. Because I think when you,
Duplicative. You're killing me here today.
no, it's just that when you work
can't.
duplicatively, it's such a waste of effort.
You made that up. There's no.
No. I don't believe in doing duplicative labor. Like, to me, for instance, that's why us at Fellowship are gonna do like a joint discussion about certain things, because we shouldn't be working parallel. when we're doing these happening.
I'm gonna just modify it. It's not a corporate word. It's a part table.
Yeah,
When these two parties.
yeah, yeah. But I agree. I think we should definitely do that.
I totally agree. Sure. Yes. Very, you know that word.
It sounds old fashioned, like grouch, a good old fashioned grouch.
No, it was bad. Fools you guys now.
Hang on, if you were here yesterday, they set it up, and then you bring it apart out.
You know, I reached out to Sue Planner,
Yeah.
her back into the folder, all the stuff.
Yes, Sue's a good egg.
Oh.
I do, my phone's tied up right now.
Yeah, I told this.
Oh, you're going to say something stupid.
You're supposed to say that in private.
What's that?
I don't want everybody to do it. I want to know who read it.
We're gonna cause an inflationary crisis. Yeah.
You read it, that's what I wanted. They didn't know we were talking about it.
I don't think so.
Good.
They're going slowly but surely.
Roger Whitcomb, good morning. Okay, very
I
good.
see you. Hi. I always rest.
That's weird. That's so strange. It's weird. What's it doing that now? Why the microphone on here doesn't work now is weird. I don't know. Yeah, the phone does. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have to do it from the phone. But you know, everything was fine until I hooked up that Bluetooth speaker, that, you know, Eric's little Bluetooth speaker, and then that's what set everything, like, got everything all wacky. I'm kind of thinking so, to be honest with you. Hello. 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 That's weird. All right, so the speaker is clearly working, right? But yeah, I don't know. Hey, what's up? How are you? Yeah. Hear me over there. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow. There we go.
Usually people
Good morning, Dee. Can you do me a favor and confirm that you can hear me?
Yep, I can hear you well. I can hear you really well.
Awesome. That's a huge relief, to be honest with you. And thank you. And it's nice to see you. Thanks for coming.
Yep, thanks, Wade.
You have a video on yourself.
Nice try.
We have a JT today. I can say it. Just want to start us in God bless America. God bless America. Land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. Through the mountains, to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Good morning. Two-part invocation moment of reflection today. I'd like to have a moment of silence for Gordon and Linda, who lost their, Harry, who lost his son recently. Today's the services. So let's have a moment of silence for Gordon and Linda. Amen. And I have some words from Mark Twain to inspire us today. Work like you don't need the money. Love like you've never been hurt. Sing like no one's listening. Dance like no one's watching. Live like it's heaven on earth. Have a great day.
So you're up, Mr. Guest and Secretariat. We have,
Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning. We have one guest. I guess Nellie, Regina. I'm going to dismiss. Regina, welcome.
Great name of organization. Thank you for being with us.
I think they're one of the guests. I didn't have, where'd you go? You left already. Yeah. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, a reminder, we have a board meeting following this meeting, and we'll be right next door today. And we've changed our venue right over there. Secondly, we were all finders. Please remember, we're down to about 91 members. We need to get to bring more people in to do more service. So please, everyone's a finder. Please bring someone to breakfast, and let's bring some more good people in. I see our couple beauty princesses here today. Do you want to say something today?
Thank you. We're going to be forming a team. We need people to be on the team, to sponsor the team. We want to raise a substantial amount.
$1 million, there you go. You want $1 million. I do want to clear up something from last week. I know it was my fault. But to show you how good our Rotarians are, I made the announcement. Lexa was on the screen. I couldn't quite understand her right. That's just fine. Here. Anyway, I got an email within a day from someone who said, if you need a purple cake, I will make one for you. I will bring you a purple cake. So just to be clear, it's a purple cape, C-A-P-E, cape. Okay, but Sal, who was that that sent that email? Yeah, it was Sal. I thought it was one of those typos, you know, like spell corrector. It was, all right, board meeting today, committee lists are up. I want to thank everyone who got involved with the auction we had last week, the pop-up auction. I've decided to do it again with the Rotary dollars and so on. And I've decided we're going to do it again, but we're going to do a car. We're going to use Wade's car, but then we're going to use a car. That was just all right. Other club announcements. Club announcements. Cindy.
The Northeast United States, and we also had all of Canada. And two things that made me almost shiver. First is there was an announcement from the Rotary Foundation, and also they met with to show Afghanistan. Well, Afghanistan was approved and has regular Rotary clubs, and we've done several international grants with Afghanistan. The big issue has to do with polio. Since October of last year in the world, there's been one case in Afghanistan and one case in Pakistan. The people that do the vaccinations in Afghanistan, the majority of them are women. Big issue now with the Taliban. There have already been silent talks to see if the women can continue that. Could be a big issue with respect to polio. The second thing, and this really touched my heart, Rotary International has already met with the World Health Organization and other large health organizations around the world with respect to COVID. The world is now starting to use our Rotary polio model to be able to implement vaccines strategizing throughout the world. That's the influence we had. When I heard that, I just had to share that with everybody. So
thank you, Sylvia. Oh, and Karen, I know you have some things to tell us, right?
Save the date for planning Make a Difference Day. Karen had sign-up sheets. We've already have Miracle League. It's the day of the Halloween parade. We're going to have clean up the Remembrance Garden and the Canals House. So lots of opportunity to volunteer, get out there in the community. So just watch out for an email and some future announcements. October 16th.
What about this weekend?
Oh, yes. This weekend is Bills of Time. I think I got everyone a badge who's volunteering at
Make a Difference days. Oh, yeah.
this morning, we're volunteering at the breakfast. Making sandwiches.
I don't have my turn your audio.
Hold on service and you are able to have. Thank you so much.
Turn your audio.
We're just passing the mic.
Mute yourself.
So,
how many people read the newsletter? Apparently only 4. Lexa read it. Woody read it. Wade read it. And who's the other person that came up with it? And Cindy. They got $1 million because they came out to, and they said pink, purple. That was the key word. They got $1 million for just reading the newsletter.
Good morning. Just want to put another plug out there for the poker run, September 25th. We do have some raffle tickets that several have bought, which is fantastic. We'll have them for the next several weeks for 50-50. Also, you should have in your inbox a letter that you could act on yourself, becoming a sponsor, participant in the the event, or forward to friends and family. So we're really looking to boost participation, raise funds to benefit veterans. So we appreciate the club's support. Thank you.
Ralph?
I want to remind everybody that September, and we're going to be collecting the Emmaus food bank. And people, I appreciate everybody who can bring canned food that, and all kinds, whether it's fruit, whether it's canned meat, whether it's vegetables, all these things they need at the food bank. So your participation will be very helpful. It is associated to the Second Harvest Food Bank, and Emmaus Food Bank is the pantry for them, and they distribute food to the needy in the Emmaus area. So I will appreciate anybody who can bring food. It is very helpful to them, and they appreciate Rotary and our donations that go there. Thank you all for thinking.
Thank you, Ralph. Other, Jim Hoffus.
Thank you notes from the food bank all the time, by the way, and I just filed them file. But we did get a nice handwritten thank you note from Allison Hack for one of our scholarship winners.
Mary, I think you have something to say.
Just a reminder, golf tournament, September 13th, offers sponsors, still welcome, still really fun. Also, the last couple of weeks, so raffle tickets, sent out a blast email, forward it on to any of your contacts, share it on Facebook, Instagram. So many raffle tickets. Tribute to both the golf event and poker run.
I think when you have the checkbook out, just write it.
So I have one quick club announcement. So if anybody needs help with Club Runner and or My Rotary, you saw the article in the Trumpet. So if you need help with that, just reach out to me. I'll happily schedule one-on-one, sit down with you where we get you all squared away so you can start using those tools.
How many people have a myrotary.org account? No, you have it. It's in there. Wait, look at their hands. Whose hand is not up? Okay, thank you. I tell you, there's so much information in there, and the Club Runner app on the phone. I don't look up, that's where I look up anybody's number. If I call you, I email you, that's where I go to. So make sure you're in Jim's database. Jim's great about that. Other club announcements. Okay, raffle time. Sergeant at Arms. I just said raffle time. Reader.
I'll wait to get the drinks up till we come back up.
Ooh. Sandy Hardaway. Okay, get 2 more tickets.
No.
I know you can multitask. I've seen it.
Who wants it? Who's gonna pay me? 900 is the, oh no, wait a minute. 006, 803. See, stick with me.
You're a winner. Pick another one, third one, you're on 3.
We only have
We got lots of.
we only have Rotary.
I have it. You can still do it.
No,
It says he has it somewhere. I don't know.
We're just turning right at the back.
800. So hire the handicap to that new meeting. Yeah, unfortunately, we gotta give him.
All right, Sergeant at Arms. Next.
So I know you're new at this president, Mike, but that's kind of the way it works. The greeter does the raffle.
I do.
And,
Yeah.
I do the sergeant at arms fighting. I did collect some finds already. One charming lady tried to hide in a picture of the East Penn Press behind her sunglasses. Didn't work. I found her out, right, Megan? Jeff is very patriotic today. He has a flag on, but he doesn't have a rotary pin on. Chris Wells, he's wearing his pin, he's wearing his name badge, but he's here 2 weeks in a row, so that's a fun. I got a budget I gotta meet, I gotta get creative with funds. Somebody was forgetting the pin, I got that. So, Mike, are you paying a fine for not knowing who does what? Or?
Oh, sure.
All right, good. Thank you very much.
I have rotary dollars.
$1 million. Happy dollars, please. Go ahead, Joe.
I got $1 million happy dollars here. So purple pink, I get a purple pink, I stack it with a hammer. Sometimes I get two fingers. So about 55 years ago, this time of the year, a boat left from Naples, Italy, through Halifax, going to New York, and I was on a 10-year-old with my family. When I got to New York, by the way, that was one of the last ones. After that, everybody was going. Got to New York, everybody wanted to look at the Statue of Liberty, right? So everybody huddled on one side of the boat, and I thought that that boat was going to go over. Luckily, it didn't. Now I'm here 55 years later. Other happy hours? Well, mine. Happy for her. Someone they know or whatever. Just after they were talking about that, I said, "Yo, how you doing?" So we caught up and give everyone my regards.
Now, is that our hand raised or what was that?
Said happy dollars, I raised my hand. That's the protocol, right? Get it straight.
Raise your hand.
Moving right along, guys.
Raise your hand.
I'm gonna get some of it.
$4 happy dollars, two for 14. Always said enthusiasm breeds enthusiasm. Or enthusiastic, help drive, help enthusiasm. So, I would for that.
I'll turn it back.
Right here, today's program. And today's program, I got a note from Randy the other day that said, we were talking about the program, Florida emails, and it said it's going to be the greatest program in the history of Rotary. So I I'm glad you're all here. No pressure, Wade, but get on up here. I think Ashley's gonna be on the camera for a little bit. That's what I saw. Okay, well, it's over to you, Wade and Courtney. Stand behind the camera.
So let me square this away. I'll take me a couple seconds and we'll get this up and running for you. All right, share.
Don't put your expectations back on.
Green.
Hopefully I won't put you through it, but
And we're gonna go here.
the topic today, we're just gonna give you an update on the membership committee. We're gonna talk about the Fiore model, tell you what's going on. Here we go.
You. And why this is up here now, I don't know. Here we go. All right, and wait a minute, is it doing it? Okay. I don't know why.
So we do have some interactive pieces about this, but the beginning of the presentation was pretty much us talking, but it'll probably be pretty quick. So the membership committee's vision is we will find, recruit, conduct, orient, and retain service-minded personnel. And notice it's find, F-R-I-O-R, and then E is on here because that's helping people exit. So we're not going to talk about that in our mission committee vision statement. So well, acknowledge their exit. So this comes from the priority model, and it's something that I came up with this past about a year ago. Was it? Maybe 6 months ago.
It just feels like a year.
Yeah, it feels like a year ago. So it's a great way for us to think about membership. Each one of these letters has a significance. So like we said before, find, we have to find everybody. We're all finders. Recruit them, induct them, orient them, retain them, and then if they're on their way out, see what we can do to help them. So finding is Mike said today, we're all finders, all administratarians. Find potential new members, refer them to the recruiting team, and use the membership form. So that's all of us. I know a couple of years ago, Steve had a real, his push was to get all of us to get people to come in. And I think we need to continue to do that. I think that in every group that I've been a part of before, be it a small book club, be it, a PTA or whatever it is, you need new blood. After a while, you're staring at the same faces, and it's always fun to meet new people. And we're down about 10% right now in membership, which it's not a huge number, that's expected after COVID, but let's get that number going. Let's all start to talk to people and bring in some new members. So recruiting, once we found them, we go down, this is the recruiting piece of the subcommittee of membership. It's led by Rick. And this is where our goals were to develop a list of questions to use when meeting with members, meet with the members, assess if they're a good fit, and then review the membership with them so they know what they're getting into. So that's recruiting, and that's a big piece of it. Inducting, this is JP and Sue Slater. Doviak is our heads of induction, and they had that last month. So you all saw that, handle all aspects of inducting them. So this is the subcommittee on induction, and this is what they're doing, making sure that members actually have their ceremony to get inducted. Next one is orient. So Roger and Cindy and I have been in the orientation committee, and we said, okay, what do we really want? Some of the things we want is to create an orientation program, and also to create a handbook, and also Roger's been working on creating the history of the Emmaus Rotary. So these pieces will help people feel like they've been ushered in. Now, for new members who might be here now, we have not started it yet. We're still building it. Hopefully this fall we'll have everything running smoothly. So if you have come into the membership, you've just been inducted and are wondering what's going on, get that going soon. So then the last pieces are led by Wade, and that's to retain and exit. Do you want to say anything about that, or you can talk about it? Yeah. So he'll get to that piece. So retention is, hey, where are you guys? Come on back in. You know, what can we do to make this easier for you? And exit is see you later. No, it's just doing an exit interview to make sure that we're understanding why people are having to leave us. So going back to orientation, we've been working on this this spring. So we wanted new members to have a sponsor. So as they come into their first couple of meetings, who can explain, first make a contact with the member, explain meetings, talk about their upcoming classification talk about attendance, talk about how the meetings work, things like that. Just the very first contact. So if you're asked to be a sponsor, sometimes it's the person who actually has helped them become a member. It's just the first couple meetings, make sure that the person who you're working with has a person to bring them to the meetings. You don't have to sit with them every time, but just like feel like, oh, I know what's going on, rather than not really know what's going on. Then the goal for us is to have mentors. Mentors would be more like people occasionally. So there's a difference between the sponsors and a member. And help the member. So our orientation, when we really sit down, it's not going to be this formal one big chunk, everybody in place, you know, here's Rotary. This is going to be handled with a new member table, usually quarterly. So the new member tables are before this meeting, so 15, 20 minutes, talking about one topic. We'd have new members at a table. This way, it's not a huge chunk of time. It helps get people to the meetings. It helps new members have a context of people who can help them along. And it's not going to be too frequent, quarterly. So whoever's new within the past 2 years, we would invite to the new member table. And then we're going to have periodic fireside chats. This is something we had this years ago, and this is more periodic, every 6 months, whenever it gets together. And this would be more of a social event for the new members, as well as a priest program. That would be at somebody's house, more intimate, more social setting, creating bonds between new members, and board members and other people can attend as well. So handing it over to Wade, where are we to date?
All right. So yes, I'm going to touch on the progress that's been made to date. So just bear in mind that our new committee really didn't get started till the end of April, was when we really kind of shook out who was going to be involved, what their roles were. We didn't really formally roll things out until June 1st. So just in a very short period of time, we've already accomplished quite a bit. So with the recruiting team, we've had several new members have been interviewed and accepted since rollout of the new membership committee. And in conjunction with Mike Waddell, the new member referral form has been introduced. So when you're acting as a finder, there's some paperwork that we can give you to help us kind of expedite the process of bringing in a new member, vetting them, getting them to fill out the application and whatnot. So if you're not familiar with that, please reach out to me. Let me know that you're not familiar with it. I'll gladly get that in front of you. It's not like a major thing. It just makes it easier for everybody on the back end to try and get those members enrolled and voted on and whatnot. And then we're also going to be working with Jim Palmquist here shortly to start revising the member application. Although the member application was revised not that long ago, I believe 2019, Club Runner, the way it's set up, there's certain pieces of information that are missing from our application that make Jim's life hard. So we're going to try to streamline that and meet his needs, meet the needs of Club Runner moving forward. So that way, when we have people, we vote on them, we approve them, that we can seamlessly get them integrated into the electronic system and get them in front of international. So before I move on, is there anything you would like to add, Rick?
Well, one of the things we do is, I am so lucky. I'm a thorn between two roses. Okay, when I go out to meet people, I go with Megan and I go with Nellie. We're all learning what our roles are. So please, when we meet with you as a potential new member, we're learning as well as you are. So please ask as many questions as you can. If we don't know the answer, we will get the answer for you. Come back and say hello and get an answer. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, so on the opposite end of the spectrum is the retention team. So we just talked about what happens when we bring in new folks, but what are we doing to try and preserve existing membership? As you know, the pandemic situation really turned our club upside down and shook it until all sorts of pieces fell out. For me, on a personal level, it allowed me an opportunity to become much more active than I think otherwise I would be able to at this point in my membership history. So for me, it was kind of a unique opportunity. But for a lot of folks who participated in our group for a long time, they've more or less fallen off the roles, so to speak. So one of the biggest things that we have to deal with retention is how to get the folks that used to be active, aren't necessarily active anymore, back involved. And then likewise, the folks that just kind of exist as a name on a list, how do we reach out to them and introduce them to the positives of Rotary, get them to become more involved? So it's a very important part of what our mission is. And although there's a ton of emphasis right now on recruiting and finding people, the hanging on to the folks that are here already is, I think, equally important. So one of the things, unfortunately, that has happened, as Courtney touched upon, is that we have lost some of our membership. Our numbers are down. We're down into the low 90s at this point. So Kev Basara was kind enough to kind of take on the responsibility of doing exit interviews. So what he's doing is he's tracking down the folks that left our group and just asking them for an honest, confidential conversation of why did you leave? What is the reason why you felt that this wasn't for you and it wasn't worth sticking with it? Because I think it's important that we have some reflection on ourselves. Nobody's perfect. We certainly aren't. And I think if there's something that can be learned from this experience of losing members, it's really important that we do so as soon as possible. So Kev has been actively tracking these folks down. At some point, he's going to have kind of a final report for me that I'm going to go over, and then I will report back to the group on that. But just know that when these folks are leaving our group, we're not just letting them disappear. We're actively trying to find out why. So basically, like the slide says, Kev's working on that effort. And we're also in the works with the fellowship committee to do kind of a joint venture here where we do some activities to try and improve participation with members that aren't as active. All right, so also in the midst of all this activity, an informal team was created, and it was requested that membership address the creation of a modernized brochure. So we have currently this two-sided card, more or less, that has some pictures, some information that is available for us to give out to prospective members. It's a little dated. The pictures are dated, the information's dated, it's not current. So the board had asked Courtney and I to tackle this issue to get it up to date. So Courtney and I had an initial meeting together when we talked about some things. And then that led to Courtney teaming up with Cindy Horniman, with Valerie Deneen, and also with Sal to more or less finalize this. Now, recently, our esteemed president hit us with a hard deadline of September 23rd. So it went from being something that we were kind of tapping on with a hammer to something that's now completely in the forge, because we got to get this thing done. So look for that to be available to you in the near future as a tool that you can use in your work to try and bring in new members. So as if that wasn't enough, meanwhile, over at orientation, in addition to working on a formal process of mentoring for new members and taking recent inductees under their wing, Courtney and her team have been hard at work crafting a new member handbook. I'll let her talk about that.
All right, well, I have to thank Cindy and Dee, drafted up our new member handbook, and we've got a lot of good information in it, but I'm going to ask you in a couple seconds what else should be in the member handbook if you were a new member, so beware, it's about to become interactive. So the new member handbook, I'm not going to go into all the parts, but we will be presenting more to reviews soon. But we do talk about the role of Rotary International, we talk about Rotary Foundation, and we talk about the Raised Rotary Club. I was going to ask some questions about this stuff, but we're running a little bit tight on time, so I'm going to skip over that. And then it's like, what do our new members need to know about our meeting? So we have in there the time and place, the dress code, how much it costs, what fines are, you know, so somebody might come in for the first time and be a little unsure what happy dollars are. And what do you all, here's my question, what do new members need to know about our club? I'm throw that out there to see if we've covered everything. Any ideas?
Benefits in terms of getting to know other people in the community that are involved, legal advice, but then also what are expectations we have.
Right, right. And do we have those clearly written expectations of what are, do we have expectations of what new members should do as far as service? I know that we did talk as an orientation committee that we would like to get the new members within the first year involved in some kind of service project. And even have the new members do make their own, but yeah. So
Some of the meetings that are happening, they need to know that there's responsibility about working the table.
right.
And so I think membership responsibilities, I think that's kind of highlighted.
Right, Ashley's writing these down. Thank you, Ashley. You don't only one word or two words, all of them. Anything else?
You know, one of the reasons comes from the intellectual knowledge and
Yeah.
learn about service, other folks work with attention. Right. So I'm not sure where that could be noted, but it is rewarding in that sense, like when the church is public, you know, you walk out, they look with you. But it's I think that the programs are stimulating and contribute to a program or something that, you know, would helpful or.
Yeah, right. And it kind of builds community too, because you learn about other organizations in the community. I think that's a great point.
They need to know that they need to do a classification.
Right. Yeah. Be prepared for that. Yeah. And maybe a little bit of language about what to be included in that. Yeah.
I think, you know, all of those things sound great, but I hear some of the things that I got this is foreign. So I think we need to, obviously our main goal is service stuff, but we're fun. And community program, I was down at the club, they had a nutrition thing for the presentation. Very interactive. That was very worthwhile. The members got something back. Always out. You have programs where folks come in, ask for money, this, do this, do that. You gotta have some fun also. That's the first fellowship program.
Maybe a little box talking about example fellowship.
What's the old
Yeah.
saying? All work and no fun. So, you know, I think we gotta make sure we put some fun.
Are you going to correct? Is it really makes you? Oh. Yeah, that's a good point. He was just saying that, talking about the trumpet, adding that to it, saying that we had this newsletter. Yeah.
What the committees are, and what people are, and when.
Okay. We went back and forth about actually putting names of members in, because then we'd have to update it every year. So I think maybe a list of the committees, we can talk about that going back, but thanks. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great.
One thing, I rarely agree with Joe, but I have to say, I think whatever we put out there should focus in on the positive of the club. I mean, there's, if you kind of mentioned that, the member has to be aware of, that's fine, and dandy, you don't focus, but right, I mean, we should focus in on fellowship, and we want to have fun. It's all about camaraderie and networking, things like that. That should be really highlighted.
Great, thank you, guys. This is great feedback. And I'm gonna hand it back over because we're running tight, so. We got the best presentation ever.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's see here. Okay, so as you know, the Fiore model deputizes all of you as finders. Therefore, we want to get everyone a jump start on this by putting our brains together. So what I've done is I've come around with sticky notes. So everybody has a sticky note. If you need a pen, let me know. We'll try to get you a pen as well. What I want you to do is to write down the name of one person that you know that should be a Rotarian, but currently is not. So I want everybody to do that. I know you all know at least one person out there in Emmaus, in the Mtg area, somebody that should be sitting here right now who is not. Write that name down. You have 90 seconds. Go. I can see steam coming off the heads. I think I hear little hamsters running on a wheel. All right, 30 more seconds. Come on, you guys can do this. You can do it. I know you can. Okay, all right, so anybody want to share a name that they wrote down? Yeah, let's hear it. Anybody else write Jim Hess? Anybody? You should have, so you know Jim Hess. Guess what? Congratulations, you're now teammates. You guys are going to work together to bring Jim Hess into this group. All right, who else wants to share a name? Who's got a name? Who's got a name? Meg. Who else has Kristen Gilbert? Nobody. Oh. Guess what? Me and you are going to team up with Kristen Gilbert, all right? All right, hold me accountable to that. We're going to do it next week. All right, anybody else want to share a name? Come on now, come on. Who's got a name? Who's got a name? Who's got a name? Yeah, go ahead. Anybody else have Steve Ackerman? Got to work with a neighbor. Get him in here. Get him in here. Is he a good guy? You like him? Come on, get him in here. All right, who else? Who else? Who else? Come on, somebody else stick their neck out there for me. Nelly, what you got? Anybody else? Anybody else? So, anybody else? No? See, somebody help you. Bring them in. Yeah, and who you got? Joe Lentz. Anybody else with Joe Lentz? Come on, somebody's got to help Ralph with Joe Lentz. Who wants to help Ralph out? Come on, somebody, come on. Who wants to help Ralph? Yes, Don wants to help Ralph. Awesome, Don, you're the man. All right, so everybody, yeah.
I have invited people, and I also put on my board to follow up. But what about doing the mailer? Like a little postcard or something pressed down, and the Rotary business then to contact this person or number. But like all these people coming to the area, there has to be somebody who's hearing it one time somewhere. So I don't know. It could be very simple, or even an invite on there to have it open house.
To be honest with you, there are some things that are kind of kicking around within the district that are kind of similar to what you're thinking about.
Carpeting, like I drove here and there's all these houses.
So do me a favor, formalize your idea, kind of get it into something cohesive, and then you and I'll talk about it, and then I'll go to the board with it, and we'll talk about it. I love the ideas. All right, so obviously we're just about out of time, but if you had the courage to write a name, I think you have the courage to go a little bit farther and hit that person up and get them in here as a guest. So as our president has told us, we are all finders. So bring those guests in, bring them in here. Any questions, comments, criticisms? Are you stunned because you just witnessed the greatest presentation in the history of Rotary? I don't know about you, but I'm stunned that we brought it home in one piece. Yeah, we're going ahead. All right, so I think we're ready to hand it back off to our president so we can get this wrapped up.
Thank you to Wade and Courtney, who Wade has delusions of grandeur at times. I love that. That's true. How about a nice round of applause for them? I wasn't sure what to expect. Great overview, model. Just say that I didn't come up with that by myself. Part of the PETS training, the president-elect training that I was in last year, and I kept seeing these same terms over and over and over. And my very logical, linear side of me said, "Geez, if you put all those things together, what happens?" And it came up with the Fiore model, or actually like Courtney. How did you pronounce it? Fiore model. I'm sorry, or Ferrari model. Joe likes the Ferrari model. One thing that I've learned, all of you who are business professionals in your right, experts, something I've been trying to teach my 14-year-old grandson. A goal without a plan is a wish. I'll say that again. A goal without a plan is a wish. And I think we've always had the goal of bringing people in, finding good people who want to be involved in service. I'm hoping that this Fiore model gives us that plan. It gives us, I think it's going to take a good year. Even with Courtney and Wade, you're doing a great job overseeing this and moving it forward. We're volunteers, so it's going to take a little longer than those recovering type A's like sometimes, but that's the way it's going to be. It's going to take at least a year to work through it, to get all the paperwork done. The new member handbook is really cool. We should have had that years ago. And now what we're doing with retention fees, and Roger going to do his fireside chat again. There's just some really good things to keep people involved once we have them. So let's be finders. Let's go out and find these good people of service and bring them in and bring them into breakfast and let's grow our Rotary community. So thank you to Wade and Courtney. And if you guys will do the 4-way test to wrap up today. First of all, 4-way test and the things we think should or do first, second, third, fourth. Thank you to everyone. Go forth and do good. Reminder, board meeting next door, 5 minutes. Let's head on over there.
I didn't see it tonight. Hey, thanks. It's got to be out there in that bin or something. Oh, you did? Oh.
We have no tables in your desired room.
hell was that pie?
Hey, you too. Hey, thanks. Yeah, and I'm gonna stash the laptop like this so that I can record the board meeting. So,
Way above. I said the way to hear people and their risk of losing, like don't correct them. Going to go something about it.
Believe me, I tell my kids that all the time. No, I shouldn't be. That's okay.
Wait a minute for Wade.
Picture. Check my grammar.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Yeah, I think we used our time like exactly. We landed at like 8:29, so it was perfect.
I'm happy you read the newsletter. What?
Oh, wait.
No problem. You were the fifth.
I'm carrying ballpoint pens, but I don't have any swag. How can I get it? Well, not from my house, I just got time to do it, work on it. Pick up a flag at my house. Okay. What do you want me to do? Okay. So, all right, what's good?
Yeah. So the Zoom world should be able to see you, so it'll be part of the recording, and just pick and post this or whatever. Yeah, nobody joined in virtually, so.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Is Lexa count? She's on the 7. Nicole, 8. Cindy, 9. No, that's not on board. Sorry. 9. Bill, 10.
All right, we're good? Yeah. All right, I'll call this meeting to order then. August 26th, 2021, meeting of the ERC board. Motion to approve the July 22, 2021 minutes. Wade, second, Chris. Discussion. Favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Secretary's report, Jim Conquest.
Okay, so for the month of July, there were 5 meetings. Our total attendance was 49%, including makeups, 42% of physical or virtual attending actual meetings in real time, and 7% makeup. We had no change in membership. We still have the elders as a leave of absence. And we have 89 active members and 5 honorary members as of today, total of 94 members. The other thing that I ought to give you an update on is news. We have 11 more people to go, and we fill them 3 or 4 times, and I send letters and call people and follow up. What I've been doing with Wade the last couple of cycles, when we're 2 months out, I think those are people high risk of being lost. So I send them to Wade and I say, you don't have to collect money from them, but re-engage them. So when future invoices come, they are more likely to pay up. We're going to lose some of those people. Yeah, that's running clear. Yeah. And continue on. I'm going to probably set it on something. So we are close. This is
July 1st building.
You mentioned we're coming next. On top of it, I think we bring it to the gate coordinator part of the committee and put it into be engaged.
Yeah.
And I think people mentioned the price of progress. Unfortunately, there hasn't been much progress, so this is more of just.
You contact them, I'll go out and refill them before the time.
Yeah.
Three or four of those people, sounds like that's a reasonable assumption.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah.
Maybe under 90 people.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Tough year. Financially, other people, I think some people have found other things to do for the pandemic.
I think we're certainly offering an exciting opportunity here at the gate. You know, it's not for their board and staff, we want to be. But we're offering this.
I think, with all the activities we have coming up here next through October, certainly that's a reason to get people engaged, bring them again, the new people as well. So, motion to the secretary report.
Make that motion.
Sal, second, Chris. Discussion. All those, approve, aye.
Aye.
Negative. Treasurer's report, Chris.
Spent a ton of time on this. For the month, we had a profit of just over $7,500. That really is almost entirely or nearly entirely attributable to the dues collections during the month. Fourth line item from the top, our dues collections for the month were $5,280. Obviously, I think in the very near future, we have either a district assessment or an RA assessment that gets paid this time of the year. Actually, it may have even been paid in August already. So that obviously would be a timing issue in the sense that July we have the revenue with the dues collections, and in August and or September, we'll have a big payment going out there. No fundraising yet in the month of July. Our account balances, third page of the report. Checking account balance just over 61,000. And as we've been talking about, at some point we'll have some larger expenditures for local and international projects going out. The Edward Jones accounts, and here I just want to call your attention to one item here. The two accounts combined roughly about $93,000. Right at the end of June, there was a $9,000 amount that was moved from our operations account over to the Edward Jones account. As of July 31st, it's still sitting in a money market there, presumably at some time in the near future. That'll get moved over into the mutual fund side of that investment.
Question. Questions for Chris? How are we doing with the foundation? Cindy, Jeff?
Am I correct now that Alexa is, I don't know the term is, for overseeing the foundation? Now, what, I mean, I'm still trying to. Scholarship, I'm sorry, you're the foundation side. Correct. So you think you'll meet next 2 weeks or so? Or thank you, Jeff. Other questions for Chris and Treasurer? Entertain a motion to approve the Treasurer's report. Jim? Second, Megan? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Let's do it right now. Okay. Surprise. It was 10.
Must be report to this board and.
Incredibly important, integral part of what we do is this group right here. So thank you for doing that all over the phone to bring more money to the table. 200,000 is a big ask. That's going to like 2026. I like Cindy, I thought it was 100,000. So I always thought it was 100. So I think you just made that up, Jim. You're like, wait, you're a big thinker. I like it. Okay. All right. Go for it. All right, let's move forward on the old business. Anything on the call outing at Raffle? I will tell you right now, the raffle is underfunded. Let's put it that way. We have sold maybe 80 or 90 tickets. On the 400, we need to get to 180 to break even. It's going to be a big push here the next week or so. Sal, Wade, I need to talk to you about an idea I have for next week.
Still in the golf, real quick, can I add something? Don and I spoke. We also need, I'll call them raffle baskets that we raffle off the day of the golf outing. I'm going to send out an email blast to Club Runner requesting people donate whatever, basket of cheer, whatever, whatever you can put together, we'll assemble it.
The website, Don, earlier, my recollection was it said you'll get your stub within 7 days. Did you?
Say 200,
See, the magic number is 200 today. Let's get to 200 on the raffle tickets and break even, make a couple of pennies on it. We've got to get to at least 200. Okay, moving on. Anything else about the feeding program, Cindy? Am I correct? The money raised by the golf outing goes to the feeding, goes to.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, I told somebody incorrectly then yesterday, so I thought it was going for scholarship. Or somebody give me something definitive about that. Nicole and Karen, a couple of really important things coming up. What do you want to tell us about the planter redo at the Weiss Market?
Some small trees. A while ago, Gary said he has some going to plant trees that month that we were thinking of planting towards this. So putting in very small, not very expensive. You don't want their white sun. So we're still hoping to have that plant in a slight bit more. To make that site a little bit more good. And then the other thing, Sam said that he had a bench that we could possibly have. So it would be concrete on the sides with wooden slats and protect that with slats. I was thinking if we could maybe do a donation for our housing, perhaps. Nice to put that in this community work. And so I suggested that involved. We're not up at school yet, so which team?
Well, I was thinking the Interact Club for sure.
We'd like to see that on that Make a Difference Day. One of our activities, finish that thing up, get it put together, if possible. I'm a little concerned about mulch as the base. That's just going to wash out. We're going to have to replace it. Is there any way to do it with flagstones or concrete? I don't know, whatever Weiss would allow us to do, something maybe a little more substantial to consider. That would be good. I just know the mulch in my house, I have to replace it every year or so. It's just that corner is just going to wash out. What you have is a lot of water coming off the parking lot, comes right down through there. It's just going to wash out.
Sometime give us the, you have a drawing, if you want to send it to me, I'll send it. Yeah, true. All right. I'll keep plugging away with it, thank you. Make a Difference Day, I saw we have a number of activities for that. Make sure you have a photographer lined up for all these things. Just so many different activities would be great. Figure that Make a Difference Day. I just remember that a couple of years ago. People picking up trash, working at the Remembrance Garden, at the homestead. That was just a really fun day. And a Halloween parade that night. Thank you. Yeah, important stuff. All right, anything else under old business that maybe I didn't? Okay, moving on, new business. I want to tell you about an initiative. I'll make it very brief. Gail Micah, president of the Allentown West Club, is very interested in a program out of road called Rotary Means Business. About it when I was going to the PETS training. I thought it was a really good idea. And what it does, it tries to connect business people together with Rotary to help them network and learn through those different things. So Gail really wants to have an event next month. Actually, I think it's September 30th up at the Eight Oaks Distillery. And what she wants to do is do this through Ashley Laura and the chamber and have Ashley invite people through the chamber of the network / Rotary event. Ashley has, I just asked her today, 1,000 she can connect with. That she can invite, if we would get 30, 40, 50 people to come to that. And they're networking, but also talking about Rotary. I think it's a really good idea. Plus, anybody new, like the names that Kate got from us today about people who should bring Rotary meeting, like that event as well. There's going to be a cornhole informal tournament of some sort of prizes and so on. So that's just somebody. In fact, that's where the initiative came from, for the brochure that I gave, and the hard deadline of the 23rd, so we would have it that night. Is there any what questions do you have about that? Any concerns? It's probably my questions, maybe $50 to $100, which I'll take out of the membership budget. It's a membership. It's a one-time thing for right now, but maybe another club. There's about 5 clubs that would be involved. It's Allentown West, it's Whitehall, it's us. The other 2 are. We would all be there. We'll all be talking to people. If somebody happens to live in the Whitehall area or work in the Whitehall area, we'll steer work with the Whitehall. Then I'll jump in, or whoever else is with me, jump in and invite them to come to our meetings. Pardon me? Somewhere between there, it's going to, that's all it's going to cost per club to do this, to pay for it.
I'll second it.
Okay, discussion?
those chamber members that are on. That's the reality. But if you don't participate,
Something actually about this morning and actually about how this is marketed. So it's going to be one of the networking events with a Rotary. So I think it's a good point, Cindy. I love trying things at least once and see what we get from them. Wait.
So before I make my comment, so I kind of have like a perspective from both sides of this issue. But I spoke with Ashley about it the other day because I didn't want her to take my feelings on this point. And you and I talked about it. I actually sat in on kind of the I guess what's the word, a meeting for this whole thing. And I have apprehension. My concern is that our group is a community service organization. And I'm in networking groups. I'm in WhatsApp. I go to WhatsApp to market my wares. I'm active in the chamber to market my wares, so to speak. When I come to Rotary, I intentionally shut off the business version of me. I never try to solicit business here. I just don't have those conversations other than if there's friendly banter with other people that are in my profession or whatnot. But my concern is I don't want Rotary to become Diet BNI. So like I'm serious about this. Like I'm concerned that you're gonna have folks that are coming and it's being touted as a business networking group, and that's not what we're about. So I'm apprehensive about it, and I think I was kind of clear to you the other day that my support for this is lukewarm. Now, as a co-chair membership, I haven't had a chance to talk to Courtney about it yet. I can't say what membership's formal opinion is of this. I think as a committee, we're going to need to talk about it. I'm okay with us showing out $100 for budget, but I'm not looking to like make this a major part of what we do. We have finite resources. We're already stretched thin, and I'm concerned about the overall message of it. So like I said, full disclosure, on the other side of the fence, I am on 2 chamber boards. I think it's great for the chamber. I had that conversation actually, but as me as preparing as membership chair, as director here at Rotary, I'm not entirely enthusiastic, and I just want to be on the record for that.
and our club particularly. However, Rotary International has changed. Rotary was started by businessmen, and it was a business network with an extra opportunity for service. And Rotary was that arm of service that business. Exactly what you say. So now, over the last couple of years, and in our district, many Rotary clubs and other districts are working with chambers and very successfully with networking. But it's portrayed, here's the networking, here's an arm of service. So that's, so that's why I brought up both sides. But I think
I also think to open our minds a little bit, it also can serve as a way for us to talk to potential sponsors of Rotary. We have a lot of fundraising that we have going on, and there are people who show up for networking through the chamber who we don't really usually get to have a seat with on a regular basis. So we can kind of see it as a way to get our foot in the door for sponsorship opportunities.
I second the motion because I want to hear the discussion and well, I agree with Wade and I probably would vote no, but then thinking about this further, it's always good to meet other Rotary groups because I don't go to other Rotary clubs. We can talk to them, we might learn something for $100 investment, and I think we do want to support Ashley because she's a big component of our club. So I think it's a minimal risk, and I think if we're on the fence, we should just do it. And I think it's always good to learn from other Rotary clubs. And to Megan's point, you might meet somebody, you never know. But it'd be nice to have something local. I agree with you.
think everyone makes a good point. We are about fellowship and service, and working just happens to happen. The way I've always approached it, the way I was trained, let's say it's drilled that into me as a president. Fellowship and service, the networking will happen. We don't put that first and foremost, and I think we can keep doing that. I like to see this as a first time event. We'll see how it plays out for $100.
Call for the vote.
Okay. Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You know, I don't know. I'm not, wait, what did you hear to do when we talked about it? When the chamber people come, are they paying,
The chamber does both, they do some free, some nominal fee, yeah. Okay.
all right, one thing I didn't mention, which won't change anything. But the chamber is charging $200 for this event. That's for Ashley to put it out to everyone. As they sign up through her, she creates a database of everyone who's coming, where they're from, email addresses, all that stuff that she then will print out and give all to the clubs. So that's really a nice piece that comes back to us, that we want to use it through membership, everything and so on. You can certainly use that app. Okay, moving on. Sal, you had questions about the table assignments, who pays? And
Oh, you skipped the COVID thing.
COVID thing, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry, my check mark is wrong.
Sorry.
COVID, we had, I got the letter from COBOL, so we got the trumpet. Where are we with this? Brookside right now has not changed the protocols. They are the same as they were before. They're not checking temperature. I asked them to make the tables at 6 places instead of 8. They aren't wearing masks, but any discussion?
So I kind of it's such a don't crazy. It's people who are so vaccinated. So it just might be. It's the level. That we say, you know, we would like to wear that. So you know, just a little bit.
I've been tracking this pretty good. The country club's website until 4 or 5 days ago said, other than when you're eating, you're masked here. Sitting in a room, talking, walking around the building, you're supposed to be masked, and they weren't enforcing it. I brought it up to Mike, and Mike's had discussions with Cooper, or whatever runs it. And about 4 days later, they took down all their information. So the website as of 3 days ago had no requirements. I want to point out that I spoke at Harleysville yesterday, and Frank Romano did a nice presentation. He missed one thing. Bob Holbaugh says masks are recommended. That Romano didn't bother to mention that. He said, if you want to wear a mask, you can, you know, all this kind of stuff. We're under, in other words, August 11th, Lehigh County was in the highest category of transmission. I haven't checked it since then. Northampton was the highest transmission in the state. So this is a disease that you can spread and not have symptoms. And I understand there are some members that haven't been vaccinated in our club. So I don't see why we would want to take the risk.
I mean, I can put into the newsletter that at the minimum, that we feel free to wear your masks to the meetings if you like, if we decide we're going to continue to meet, or if we have, as a board, want to say we recommend you wear your mask. But I think if we say that, we should wear it. Frankly, I would wear mine. I forgot it in the car like Courtney did. I'm worried too. Rates are going up at the hospital. Like my barometer is the hospital and they're getting slammed. So, and not just from this area, they're getting pulling people from Montgomery County because they're filled up. So it's coming around. Yeah, Lehigh Valley. I'm sorry. And I think, you know, at some point it continues, we're gonna have to flip the switch and go Zoom again.
What if we follow, I mean, just an idea, what if we follow the East Penn? So if East Penn right now, you know, it's just, we're still sitting at the table. It's just an idea. You know, I don't feel super strongly about this. I'm just putting it out because I know this is what the library does. If East Penn goes remote, then we go. You know, if we could just, that might be just a, you know, it's a community thing. I know that's what the library does. Whenever they follow East Penn. But that's something where we're not having to make the decision and we don't have to make the last minute decision if we just follow what they're doing. As far as the maps go.
I kind of like that idea because we can't rely on Brookside to be our guiding light because they're obviously they have different incentives to stay open. I like that idea personally. Stop singing.
I don't agree with East Penn. We're not kids, we're adults. We make the choice whether to wear a mask. And we know this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. It's not the vaccinated who are filling the hospital. I understand there's transmission issues, so I'm leaving it up to the board. To me, Brookside is the barometer. They are guided by the state. The state tells them what to do, and they've been very conservative. So they're not telling restaurants and places of business like this to have to wear masks. I'm not sure why we wouldn't follow that. So I'm really divided. Sure.
Can we make this a two-step process? First, decide whether we want to do somebody else's or like follow somebody else, you know, and then decide what we want to follow, whether it be Riverside Country Club, whether it be East Penn, whether like then we have to figure out what we want to follow. But I feel like the first step of should we use somebody else as our guide, I think that takes the pressure off of us. You know, we don't have to make the decision as a board. We're following somebody else.
So first of all,
No, go for it. I don't care.
I believe it's important to show leadership. The point of being a board is to be leaders. We're supposed to be the ones that make decisions, whether they're easy or hard. So when you make an easy decision, you make a hard decision. Some people are going to like it, some people aren't. Who cares? I think it's a problem that we think we have to explain ourselves. Don't. Just make a decision that you're enjoying. Make the decision that you can live with. In my opinion, and I'm opinionated, of course, but in my opinion, I think two things. One, I think wearing a mask isn't a big deal. The reality is that it's just another article of clothing that you have to wear for an hour and a half while you're here. So I don't see the drama necessarily in wearing a mask. Number two, if you're concerned about your well-being by coming here, we are offering a adoption. So the reality is that those that are of such a high level of concern that they don't feel safe coming here, or they think that maybe taking a risk by being here, have a safe alternative. And those that are here, I think, can show each other respect in a very simple way by wearing the risk of self, the fair to all concern, all the things that we're supposed to be guided by. I think it's, in my opinion, I find this to be remarkably easy. It's requiring masks if you're going to be here, and if you don't want to be here, that's okay. We have a virtual option. So I think you can kind of kill two birds with one stone with this one. Make masks mandatory.
Yeah, we make decisions at every board meeting. I think it would be somewhat remiss of us to defer to someone else here. I think we should be making the decision. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say it's a lack of respect if you're not wearing a mask. But look, I think I don't have a problem with us saying we should be wearing masks. I won't go so far as, again, to say it's a lack of respect, but I don't think it's hard for us to say for the hour and a half that we're here, we should be wearing masks.
And when we say that, do we mean while we're up at getting food, that once seated,
Once
it's
seated.
appropriate to remove the mask?
Yeah, that would be my opinion. Once you're seated, reading presumably, take your mask down.
And maybe pull it on the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about the singing on the front others.
Did you have to have a board member or a board meeting before you went remote?
Brookside just.
Oh, that was a choice, really.
Yeah, we did it on the spot. To move it along, I'll just for sake of argument, I'll make a motion that we, as a board, make it mandatory to wear masks if you're gonna come to the meeting appropriately. Obviously, you don't need them. And if you don't want to wear masks, you can go remote. You can stay home and go remote. I'll make that motion for discussion purpose. What's that?
Careful how you. The conditions of it. Condition, it's just, and while we're walking around, not mandatory.
Yeah, well, I think that the standard protocol from before that Brookside had in place, unless you're seated at the table eating, then you should have your mask on, except for speakers. I don't think speakers should be wearing masks. The whole purpose is to communicate, and it's difficult to communicate. Yes.
Do we need to implement any other, like temperature scans or?
Brookside doesn't have it set up that way. I don't know if we want to get into that personally, but good question.
We have a consensus is that seated, you don't ask for eating. Clarify what you're talking about.
The protocol before was, I'm pretty sure, when you were eating or drinking. But if you're seated at the table and you're sipping on your coffee, you're not going to wear a mask. That's fine with me.
Where's the distinction in Sal brought up the point, you could be sipping coffee with the rest of the meeting.
We don't want to get into the weeds. Let's not do that. Yeah.
We may, as part of your motion, say, when folks are done eating, wear your mask.
That's appropriate. That's fine.
Okay, we have a second for that? Okay, other discussion. Okay, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed?
Any abstention?
Move on. Abstentions? Move on. So Sal, would you please make sure you put something in the trumpet
Yep.
working out with Jim what the motion is in particular. Okay, to start that done.
Should a blast go out and?
Yeah, I'll do it. How about? Somebody with the motion.
I'll take care of it.
Thank
I don't think people read the minutes as much as they read the trumpets. Oh,
Yeah, I think it has to be a club runner blast.
yeah. I'll get some words, finalize some words with you.
That'd be great.
And we'll go to like,
Moving on to number 3, Sal, questions?
Yeah, and I'll keep this quick. So 2 things. We started in July. We let people know, membership, that we putting the responsibilities of membership into the trumpet and working the front table, being the greeter, doing the invocation, etc. And we primed people for a month, and notices went out starting August, and the lack of response and accountability has been dismal. In fact, it's probably less than 10%. Last week, one person showed up. Gary Guthrie was the only, actually, Gary showed up immediately and Mark was late, but, and so it's pretty dismal. I don't know what to do about it. Again, I'm fairly new at this, but I know before it worked out pretty well. There was pretty high response, and now it's a low response. I will continue. By the way, I call people and let them know. And sometimes I get a response back. I text them if I don't answer the phone. So we'll keep trying. I think we just let it go for the end of the month and see what happens. But I can't call everybody every week and remind them what they have to do. They have to read the newsletter. So that's why I put that little blurb in, give me the code word purple, and 5 people did, which is pretty bad. Now, was it buried? Yeah, but was right in the responsibility area. Nobody said anything. I should say that 5 people. But the bigger thing was a couple of weeks ago, we had a lot of guests with the students are here, and I was at the table because no one else showed up. And I didn't know what the protocol was. I was pretty sure it's just your first visit as a guest, you don't pay. But I wasn't sure about all these students that were showing up. I'm assuming they don't pay for breakfast. And then their parents showed up, and I didn't know what to do there. One person actually paid me, even though I said I wasn't sure what the requirement was. So this involves 2 things. We need to know what the requirement is, and I'm sure Cindy and a bunch of people here know it, but we don't know it as new members, which folds into another avenue I'd like to explore. We need a procedure manual that says these things that you can hand to new members or new executive committee that says, here's the normal procedures. It doesn't have to be in, maybe it's in the manual you're going to do, but I've been documenting the procedures that I've been hearing about and learning about as I go through being a member here. So I'd like to start that, but what is the protocol? Where is it? Yeah. Oh, it's in the box every week. You talking about the form that we fill out with the money?
yeah, I have that somewhere.
Love to see it.
I'm not attaching it to the kit. Maybe I should go back and put that.
So as someone who's going through leadership roles, there's a lot of things that don't get explained to you. So like you wouldn't know to look for a protocol, you wouldn't know if there is one. So it's not necessarily like Sal's fault that he doesn't know. So we would think that maybe there is one. So it's like, oh, we should probably make one. But there are a couple of things, like somehow I didn't know that I would start getting Paul Harris's mailed to my house for other people. I don't know why I have this funny. So there's just things you don't know leading into it. So how could we better disseminate the information through Frank's coming through? Really, I think the question here.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, we talk to each other all the time, and still we don't know these things.
Should be.
I don't know.
Sal is correct. Should be a standard manual that has.
We update it. It's a live manual.
I think Steve actually talked about this. He was
So a board member or like Rotary Club, something.
Can somebody find this for Sal then?
If you can find it, you're the bottom one resource. You need to just give us, well, if you give it to us, yeah. You can't rely on talking, I think, so much as it's got to be documented and somehow, and even if it's digital, I don't know. Good point.
You have to recreate that. And the visual is shaking Cindy's head, stuff falling out, it's like stick with
Kiska has a way of sending text. You send text to reminders.
Yeah.
I think would do Plug Runner. If that's an automated process, that would be nice to start up. I also think we need like a picture frame with guest speakers are free, first time visiting Rotary Club is free, maybe high school students are free, everyone else pays or something like that.
Yeah,
That people can read and
yeah, I think we did, but in theory, coming up with protocols is great. But we all know if there's 10 people in line trying to pay, and the person at the table doesn't know those protocols, I can't believe that our thought process here is, wait, let me read the protocols and see if you pay, you pay, you pay, you pay. That's not gonna work.
I was thinking about for the customer.
Yeah.
If the customer reads it themselves, the speaker knows they're free.
Keep it good.
Yeah, this is not.
I think this sounds immediate point. Have the students here. Should their parents have paid or not?
Is that an opinion or was that is that the answer? Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. I agree. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know there was a protocol that the trumpet editor gets $100 a week, you know. Damn. You gave it to me because I need makeup, is that right? Oh, yeah. This is a huge fine, isn't it?
I just started an auction.
I'll bring it back.
All right, let's move on.
Bye-bye.
Now, you have sort of what you need.
Yeah, good, thanks. I'll talk to Cindy.
Moving on, the letter. From our club to plan. So if you're interested, let me know or let Bob Cobalt know or Terry. As you know, most of our meetings, going to number 6, but what happened to number 5? You number 5? I think that's just number 5. There you go. That's right. This was my draft agenda, right? So
Yes, I forgot, I apologize.
The other thing I want to say is, we banter back and forth about which club is better. I'm not talking about sports. They are sponsoring and advertising this for the district. And we need to support them. And one of the ways to support them is raise money. And we raise, get it in the fund. If there's two places, one Pakistan, one Pakistan. I'm open to ideas, talk to me quietly. One of the things I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call Dale Reed. He's a big and cool supporter. He got us stickers for our cars, special pins, all kinds of things. And I'm gonna ask him to be an honorary chair with me for this event. I don't know if he wants to be a prince. I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he'd love to be engaged.
If he has anyone. If you get a t-shirt with your registration or warning registration. Or maybe have sponsors. So it's still not real. So,
excellent. Thank you. Thank you for taking this on.
I
will look for that cake. I just had a thought the other day about should we start our meetings at 7:40, a little bit more time, or 7:05, just the president start them early if they just have to be. I don't care. I just throw it out there. Thoughts from the board? What do you think?
So, no, he's moving it up to 7:40. From 7:45.
The business meeting. Business meeting. Sorry. Someone brought up the question about, so was it you?
Not there.
We brought up about, oh, Eric brought up about your email address. Or
There is one.
Get something else, address, that was all the same, so this all went, so somehow in the last couple of years, it's not been utilized.
Well, if we have an email address, who's checking it?
Well,
So I have an email. I tested the email address and nobody came back. About 3 or 4 weeks ago, I sent an email to Emmaus Rotary at Rotary.org or something. Nobody responded.
Should be on the website, it should be on brochures. This brochure that's being made up, Cindy, we should have this on it. Have that information. Could you please follow up on that? Get it coordinated. But it needs to be on that brochure that should be on the website.
No, I check the box every week. That's right. Pardon? Yeah, I just get.
It's just one of those little things that needs to be followed up. I know it's on the website, I didn't see anything. But I did. That's another one of those SOP kind of things that.
Well, we do have an email address. I'll put it in a minute. We do actually have an address. I don't know.
Yeah, but who gets?
Yeah, I don't know.
Should be someplace. Did you? That's the problem. I'm trying to rectify. Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought you really any kind of connection on the
Jim, if you could follow up on an email.
Okay.
See what you. Committee reports. Karen.
What are you talking about? The canopy. There's the one that the Rotary Club has is like a 10 by 10 or 12 by 12, and Don Blows has it at Steve Gould's place.
We do have a membership, quick membership.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so membership, I know we had a whole update today, but I just wanted to say that we will have the manual coming. We have updates for today, but we will be bringing the manual to the board in the next couple months for the board to review. And then the second one was that I asked last month about the junior and senior day to have juniors and seniors come in. After about a week and a half of being too busy to deal with it, I was like, okay, it's too close to this year. But I would like to that's still burning. And I was wondering though, do we ever ask the Interact kids to come to a meeting? Like, do we? Okay, I haven't seen that before. We would go to the place. So wait, you said we did projects at the high school with them? But do we ever have them come to a meeting?
Yes.
We did. Okay.
They presented, we did a virtual meeting with them. We've invited them to come to fellowship.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah, usually 20.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that question, but I do still hope to do some kind of junior senior day. And if anybody has any ideas about when that would be good. Well, probably not this summer, but maybe sometime during the year. May be a good time to do it, but I just need to think it over. So if anybody wants to talk about it. Oh, youth committee. Who's the head of the youth committee? What?
Tony Moore.
Tony? Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. What's the date? I'm sorry. Okay.
The difference is technology. And then,
Here for Eric about flag subscription, when I'm under this 100 point this year, the Labor Day coming up. When the flags out again through September 11th for Patriots Day. So like Lahanas, I asked if we can have Megan do something with the mini golf maybe this fall, just as a club event, not for sponsors, not raise money or anything, but just a fun fellowship kind of event. Figure out some way to make that happen.
What we talked about this morning was this fall is pretty jam packed with so many things that we're maybe not going to do that this fall because we're expecting so much more members. September and October. Even October, we do already have a fellowship event on the books for our annual hunting meeting. And that gets a good turnout. Everyone really likes to do that and don't want to take that off the schedule. So I chatted with Mike and Mike this morning a little bit about maybe trying to get the golf at the fundraiser back on track for the spring. And maybe try and work in tandem with the golf outing committee to layer this in together. And so that maybe that we can sell raffle tickets earlier in the year than in the last push or the 2 months leading up to the golf outing. So, and then I'm digressing from what you said, but I don't think we're going to be able to pull off a mini golf fellowship outing this fall.
Other club reports going down. On any unfinished business. Anything else or?
You want to talk about hours, recording hours? Mike brought the idea of trying to cap the number of volunteer hours. Slide for a few weeks. You don't have a method to measure. Oh, I checked the number, but I never knew what it was. Each committee chair that manages their own function. Yeah, I get that to some extent. I don't ever get hours. I've never seen hours. I get the names.
Tracked by person or just by activity? the one thing that I had to do with my goals, which actually had to do, well, set a goal, minimum or the goal of how many hours, service hours you're gonna have in your club. Mine, I think I kept the same as Lexi, like 80, which was really way too low during the night. I should, used to have a little over 1,000. I should, it does have to be recorded. Maybe there's something deeper.
We don't have, that's a separate system, that's not that I've never seen. Rotary Club Central, I'm not.
We put something out to the committee chairs or monitor. And maybe. Anything else under unfinished business?
I have a question about that. So fellowship is, fellowship socials, and I try to always remember to send the attendance to Jim about the fellowship meeting. That's what I wanted to make sure, because I was like, right, that's a whole other thing. But the pumpkin painting, pink pumpkins donate to something. Okay.
It's a project. Meetings, no projects.
Working on fellowship.
Well, that's why I've been
The
submitting.
intent itself is not. Oh. Except for when I go into Iron Pigs. When you're sitting in Baltimore, that's not service.
Not service. Yeah, it's Steel Club, right? I did the virtual last year. It was really cool.
The other.
Just really, really quick. I wanted to thank the Audiovisual Club and being able to have remote meetings. Because I just sat down with my husband last night and we've got 3 kids going into college and we were like, oh my gosh. So part of one of the reasons to be able to go virtual is a Rotary breakfast every week is not in my budget. So it's nice for not just like COVID reasons, but for budgetary reasons to be able to go virtual. So I appreciate that option. Yeah. Thank you.
My concern as the president, still have 40 people, 50 people a week who aren't with us in person or virtual. Where are those people? That very much concerns me. Here we provide it, we will provide this hybrid option, and people who can't come, who have extenuating circumstances, whatever, would be on Zoom, and they're not there. That's just something we have to keep working on. Get those people, if not coming to get at least tune in Thursday. That's all. All right, other issues?
One very quick. You see errors in our database, you see email addresses and stuff, send them to me, I'll fix them. I found JP Raynoff has the wrong zip code or his mail address. It's probably been there. People remember. He lives in McConkey, you think, with a zip code, but he's actually houses. If you see errors, let me know. And I'll just fix it. Yeah, but his zip code is McConkey. I mean, it's taking mail here, I'm not sure. But anyway. But Sonny, if you see things, let me know.
I was wondering, my dog packet, last night. You not? Well, you have
Any other
that's just for you.
Motion to adjourn. Motion Chris, second. Favor aye. All in favor aye.
Bought that.
Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned.
Yeah.
Pardon my gavel.